Hey everybody, welcome to another entry in the Hyrule Compendium, and there's a ton of Zelda news coming out of E3, way too much to cover on one of these, so today we're just going to focus on the biggest news, potentially, which is the...
Cadence of Hyrule?
We're actually going to dive deep on the Contra, the new Contra game. Yeah, so they announced a sequel to Breath of the Wild. They said it's in development, which is like, no duh.
You know, it was like a weird, oddball line to appear. It's in development. Like, we knew that.
Right. So what was important, I think, about that line, and I've hinted at it in past videos, is that they didn't say the next Legend of Zelda game. They said the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I was right. I said whatever the next game is, it's gonna remind you of Breath of the Wild. I didn't think it would be that literal. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think, but I think I'm speculating here, but I think the way the trailer played out, I don't think that scene we're gonna see. I think this might be like the intro of the game.
Yeah,
this is my speculation. Where
I'm kind of on that wavelength too.
I could totally see this being a far departure from Breath of the Wild, where the game starts with a lot of lore, a lot of cutscenes and whatnot. And maybe Link and Zelda are going down to investigate where Ganondorf is imprisoned.
Right.
And then something chaotic happens. And at the end of the trailer, we see Hyrule Castle
rise up a little bit.
And maybe it takes
flies
off.
into space.
I don't know. But I think it's going to take place in a different world. Right.
So I think it's going to have similar mechanics, obviously. It's a sequel to the game. I think that's what it means. It's similar to how, Majora's Mask has similar mechanics to Ocarina of Time, but then there's all this new twist on it. Yeah. I think they're going to do that for sure.
I think the world itself will be different.
I think so too. I saw a quote someone posted from Onuma that said, the reason we wanted to do a sequel to Breath of the Wild was because we wanted to revisit that world. But I don't know how literal they meant. Do they mean world in that exact geographic location, or just the concept of Breath of the Wild?
Maybe Link has the Sheikah Slate, and he's got Magnesis and the Paraglider, and his inventory and his abilities are the same.
Yes.
And then maybe they add something to it, but it's it's that game. But I don't know. Is the Outpost Ruins still going to be there?
Exactly, because a big thing about that, I think it's still going to be a game where you're exploring a somewhat big world, maybe not as big as Breath of the Wild, but exploration is going to be key. And no matter what they do, they're going to have to come up with a way to where you're if you've played Breath of the Wild, you're not just in the same map again.
Right. Otherwise, that would take away the sense of discovery. Unless they made some radical changes to the world, but I mean...
Maybe other things rise up out of the ground. Maybe there's a whole world underneath that world that... I don't know. It's all speculation, but I'm kind of on your page where it's I think there's going to be some twist in the wind, so to say. So that was Ganondorf, right? Yeah.
I like his look. He looks like he's rotting away.
He looks like... if Ganondorf from Hyrule Warriors with the long hair became a re-dead.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got some demise in him too.
Yeah, demise. Yeah.
And he's wearing the rings that all the Sheikah monks wear.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Yeah, there's the corruption, the malice coming out of him. And there's this hand holding him. And we kind of see this image on a wall of him being held or attacked by this hand. There's all this speculation about this stuff. I don't really know. I don't actually know how much of this lore is going to be explored in the game. You know what I mean? I think it might just be here's some lore to set up the game now.
Yeah, I can totally see this being the opening cutscene.
Yeah. There was a moment where Link had the weird green hand too.
Yeah, right.
So I wonder if new mechanic.
Yeah, maybe that's an ability. It's like a Darksiders 2 thing where death has a hand.
Hook shot. Is that the return of the hook shot where you just...
Oh, the death grip?
Yeah.
From Darksiders... Okay.
getting too much into the Darksiders lore.
There's a few things I liked about this. One, I like the dark atmosphere.
Okay.
It was like we're in this. It looks like some sort of underground dungeon or cavern.
Very creepy, ethereal, like the letters that were forming out of the... Someone was saying that was like Gerudo letters.
It's something that was... I don't know if it was completely missing, but it was not very common in Breath of the Wild.
There's definitely moments of Breath of the Wild, but it wasn't the overarching vibe for sure.
And there was sort of like a montage of quick scenes or something, and it showed like the outside of... It looked like a temple or a dungeon, or... I'm not sure if that's where they were.
Oh, I think it was. I would think it would be. And it reminded me of kind of some of the old art for like the original Zelda game, the classic Zelda games, how like the dungeons would be portrayed as these big, tombs almost.
Yeah. So I think showing that, it gets people thinking. But I mean, it must be that they're going in that dungeon direction, I think.
That at least was the dungeon, I think.
Yeah.
Even though it was just a cutscene, but
it's that little clip. It's like, yeah, we got a dungeon.
There's so much. I like how much speculation they've got out of this like minute-long scene.
I like that Link and Zelda are riding in on an elephant.
Yeah, that was so. That actually reminds me, just because it was like the opening moments. I was like, oh, is this just more DLC for Breath of the Wild? And they're adding some like new mount,
Is that like Varuda, like a miniature version of him?
Yeah, it looked cool. I hope that's like incorporated into the game somehow.
We're riding elephants?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Maybe it's for the royalty only.
Yeah, right.
I like seeing rats running around.
Yeah, we haven't seen rats. That poor one rat got the malice.
Yeah, well, maybe he's like a ghoul rat now.
Oh,
like
yeah.
in Twilight Princess, there was the...
Are the like rat enemies coming back?
Yeah.
Please let rat enemies come back.
It was, like when I think of Breath of the Wild, I think of there being like 8 or 9 enemies and then like 8 variants of all of the enemies. So it'd be nice to see some more diversity, which I think we definitely will see.
Yeah, I think they can do that, like reuse some of the
I think like
enemies.
The Bokoblins should be there, and the Keys should be there, and the Choo-Choo should be there. But maybe I think move away from everything else. I don't think you need, 6 different variants of Wizardobes anymore.
Right. Well, I think you could still... Well, one thing that Majora's Mask did, for example, was found a way to, like, remix things from Ocarina of Time and, like, make things that were not as significant, and then make big thing, like, just kind of mix up the elements. So I think they can do that a little bit.
And if they have all the enemy designs, if they just reused some of those enemy designs, because they don't need to reinvent the wheel here, then they could make it where, there's only one electric Wizardobe in the entire game.
That's what I'm saying. Or like,
you don't need to duplicate it.
Maybe you can change it. Maybe make it more of a mini boss too, not just like a enemy. Give it some phases, something like that.
They just don't need to put the resources into making. They can do that into new enemies while still reusing it. So just maybe it doubles the amount of enemies in the game.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
Princess Zelda got a haircut.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty cute.
Doesn't look very royalty-ish.
Well, yeah, but one, there's no royalty. Everyone died.
Well, maybe she's Queen Zelda.
Two, her character arc was about her becoming her own person.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. The other speculation of that was she cut her hair short so that when you play as her and equip different armor, it won't clip through the armor. So they want it to work with different outfits.
I think there's a strong possibility you can play as Princess Zelda.
Yeah. I think part of me is also thinking about everything, about the lore, the world, everything, that this is just the opening cutscene maybe. So this might not, it might not have much to do with what the game actually will be. But part of me does want to think, yeah, that would be awesome to play as Zelda now in this game.
Right. Because she's she found her powers at the very end. And or not even at the very end. She found her powers 100 years prior to the very end. And presumably for the entire duration of Breath of the Wild, she was fighting Ganondorf, like trying to keep him at bay.
Yeah. So
it's like she's well versed now. She's not just like a princess like she's been in previous games.
They literally the last scene in the game Isn't it post credits? It's like them going around together.
Yeah.
They're going somewhere. I forgot. So it's like, I wonder. Yeah, that's like, I wonder if this game is them on a journey together, or if it's like a situation where it's like pick one and you play as them.
It'd be cool if they've like rebuilt Market Town, like that area.
Right.
And then there's like new roads. Like part of me wants to see this world a little bit, to see Hyrule thriving again. But I get the sense this is like immediately after. And not...
Yeah, if it's immediately after, I would rather them just go do something new.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting if they did it like, hey, it's 10 years later or something, because you got to do it in the multiples of 10.
Yes.
It can't be no.
Well, you could do 7.
7.
There's
okay.
precedent for that.
So if they did 7 years later, maybe the world could feel different enough.
Yeah, there could be one new building in Kakariko Village that's now a archery shop.
Yeah.
This is a reference to, you know what I mean.
Yes, it's better when you call it out too.
One new building. Other than that, the world will be the same.
The world's exactly the same. You rediscover it's the same shrines.
Yeah, there's one bridge that gets built or gets broken, then.
Yeah. So yeah, any other stray thoughts on this?
This is just. I really didn't think they needed to show this.
Yeah.
Did you think they needed to show this?
I feel like people would have been happy with the Direct regardless. I thought maybe they did it because they're like, oh, we're delaying Animal Crossing. But even at that point of the Direct, it didn't feel like too negative. Like,
yeah, people
still seem positive. I think people would have been happy with Pokemon and Luigi's Mansion, what they showed.
Yeah, I think they had this weird thing going where they had a lot of games already announced. Yeah, and the almost the vast majority of the Direct was showing more or new things about games they previously announced.
Yeah,
and then they had some Smash characters. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. There were a few brand new games, but nothing major. There
were some brand new games that I think if you're like fans of those series, you'd be super into.
Right,
but there wasn't one that was like a Metroid Prime 4 announcement where it's like earth-shattering, where like,
yeah, although even that I think is only if you're a fan of the series. Is that a bigger franchise than...
It's not a big franchise, but I think that's enough to get people like really excited, like a significant amount of people, and like interested, where it's like a new Contra game, for example. That's not going to move the needle,
Right. Yeah.
So like a Zelda is obviously way bigger than Metroid, so that's kind of pulling out the big guns a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that was the only thing about our predictions where we were like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I was thinking at most they teased like maybe art or something after, and said, yeah, Breath of the Wild's in development. Like sort of like, I think I made a reference to the tease they did for Skyward Sword, that they just, after their conference, they just released some art, some concept art or something. Because now it's getting people hyped, and I don't know if it's taking away from all the other stuff they've got going.
I don't think so. I think because I don't know. Luigi's Mansion is like a big deal. A lot of people are gonna get into it. Pokemon, obviously, but
just in the Zelda world, it feels talk right now is nothing. Like Link's Awakening is there, but it's like a distant second place.
Yeah.
There's not as much discussion about Link's Awakening, where all the discussion is on Breath of the Wild and nothing on Cadence. I mean.
Yeah, well, that they're just gonna let that game come out and be what it is.
Right, but like I'm like,
yeah,
maybe they could have, that's coming out tomorrow, or
maybe they could have waited till after Link's. I think as we get closer to the Link's Awakening release, and we're not gonna hear much about Breath of the Wild 2, Twist in the Wind till then.
I don't think we'll hear anything about Twist in the Wind until maybe January.
Yeah,
maybe February, maybe one of those Nintendo Directs.
So yeah, it takes away from the hype a little bit, but I think as we get closer to Link's Awakening, it's just people are still going to be excited about it.
Yeah, because I guess it depends on the release schedule, but I'm still sticking by my late 2020 release.
Yeah.
And my thoughts are, if this game was going to release then, you announce it in February or March of next year. and then you say we're gonna have our big blowout at E3, and it's gonna come out later that year.
Yeah, I still think it's likely that even though this announcement was sooner than we thought, that next year, it's like E3 is like the blowout for that.
Yeah.
And they just wanted to have kind of something to get people excited about it right now.
Right. There'll be some trickling out of stuff.
There'll
but
probably
not
be
much.
like
Maybe there's
show
a trailer
up in
at
a
the-
direct or something.
Yeah, or at the Game Awards or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like maybe a name reveal, and then at E3 we get like the details and the release date and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking 2020 sounds good. I think a lot of people are still like, oh, this isn't gonna come out for 3 years. Like people are like, you know how Nintendo is with all their delays, but
I'm more inclined to think it's definitely coming out now that it's a sequel.
yeah,
Because it's the same game mechanics, I think.
they're not
going to rebuild the
a
engine.
lot of the
They're not-
assets.
They're not reinventing the graphics either,
Yeah, I'm with you. I think probably 2020, or I think early, like March 2021 or whatever. That's I'm thinking like, maybe I'm being too optimistic, but I think that's the latest it comes out. Whereas I see other people saying, oh, it's not coming out till like 2022 or something.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine that at this point.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see.
In a year's time, we're not going to be... like, Breath of the Wild is old news in a year's time.
Yeah,
It'll feel old at that point.
It's all speculation from here on out for the next game.
Yeah.
I think from now. So yeah, there was a ton of other news that we'll talk about. I'm sure our next video will probably go. There was a lot of Link's Awakening gameplay and stuff, so we'll go in depth on that. Then eventually, Cadence will just be out, so we'll probably just be talking about Cadence after that. Like,
and Crypt of the Necromancer's on sale for $4 right now.
I'm probably not gonna play that
until next week.
So we're gonna have a lot of videos coming out in quick succession, I would say, because there's just all this news. So leave a comment though with any thoughts, speculations about this, or if there's more. We're gonna be talking about this for a while too, so just like if you have any questions for us that you want us, or topics you want us to talk about, this or Link's Awakening or Cadence of Hyrule, I guess, or Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, leave a comment. Like the video, subscribe if you enjoyed it.
Come join our Discord.
We've
got a Breath of the Wild sequel channel that's been erupting the last 24 hours.
We've got a Cadence channel.
Yeah.
It's not erupting, but
I think there's been like 10,000 comments in the Breath of the Wild sequel.
Yeah.
And like 50 in the Cadence.
I can't even keep up anymore with it, so.
It's a live chat now. It's no longer a message board.
It's bumping. So yeah, do all that, and thanks for watching.